Well, welcome back to Theoretical Nonsense. Today we're going to be discussing Season 4, Episode 19, the Zarnecki Incursion. And we are going to be discussing legal help in internet-based crimes. Is the Tanzanian chim article real? And would Leonard have a car that could actually play a rewritable CD? Stay tuned. Welcome to Theoretical Nonsense, the Big Bang Theory watch-along podcast. No PhD required.
We're the podcast that recaps all the episodes of The Big Bang Theory. No spoilers.
So hop into your favorite spot.
Make yourself a grasshopper
and enjoy the ride. Hello there, Ryan.
Hello, Rob.
Are you ready to talk the Zarnecki Incursion?
I am so ready for this. I got things I want to talk about with it.
Me too, but oddly enough, no IQ points for me. I mentioned this last time where I got ahead, and there was an episode where I had no IQ points. This was it.
I have 3.
Well, it was one of those things, like, as I was doing some research on things, I was like, there's not enough really things for me to look into for me to really call this an IQ point, so I just don't know if I could call it an IQ point. So I was like, we should be a little strict, maybe a little structured. So I was like, maybe I shouldn't call this an IQ point.
I agree with that. 2 of mine, I'm like, I don't know if these really qualify. I'm doing it because I'm interested and I want to see where the conversation leads. My 3rd one, I am proud of, though, because we'll get to it.
All right. So
it's a
I'm
definite
super
IQ
excited.
Point.
Well, this was a great episode. I loved this one. Video games, going on an adventure, someone getting kicked in the nuts at the end.
I swear,
can't go wrong with that.
This one gave me deja vu too. So there is a slight chance that I had seen at least part of this at some point in the past. I don't remember it all, but I remember Penny kicking a nerd in the crotch. So for some reason, like, deja vu. I think I've seen part of this before.
Well, a little bit of housekeeping before we dive into it. We have an email at theoreticalnonsensepod@gmail.com. It's been a little lonely lately, so feel free to email us, interact with us, comment, tell us your favorite episode, or stay ahead of the episodes and actually, let's send us an IQ point. That's only happened once, so we would love to do that again.
Yeah, and let us know, we've been talking about things to do. It's still a ways away, but the 100th episode, let's plan ahead. So if there's any thoughts on, what we should prepare for, live streaming or something, let us know what you would like to see.
Yeah. Leave us a review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Apple, I'll cut that part out, but stings still.
Do you want to tell them the experience? Share the love?
Apple Podcasts is still great because that's what's helping our algorithm. So yes, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, but Apple has failed me. Before we jumped online, Ryan and I were exchanging some stories about how Apple has failed us as customers. And most recently, I don't know if you're avid watchers, but I have different AirPods on because my big boys died. The AirPod Maxes died. Only 1.5 years old. And it was crazy because I was only using them for the podcast. I wasn't sweating in them. I didn't throw them around. I never worked out in them.
Never went swimming in them.
No, and unless somehow my kid got to it, but we keep it pretty locked up. I never dropped it, so it was kind of why is this not working? Factory reset wouldn't work. Nothing. It was just done. Wouldn't connect to any of my devices. Hopped on Apple support. They could not diagnose it over the phone, so they told me to go to an Apple store where they kind of just blew me off. The guy was just oh well, this is a known problem with these AirPod Maxes. It's okay, if this is a known problem, why aren't they being recalled? And he was well, I guess there's just, blah, 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 blah. And I was well, can you help me? Well, since you're past the warranty, is $300. It's wait, what? I have to send these in for $300? It's dude, no. You can't even diagnose
telling Rob
it.
That
you wouldn't even diagnose it.
Kelsey's AirPod Max Pros, I think it might have been a different issue, but she had issues last Christmas, and it was the same thing. Would you like to buy a new pair or $300 for repairs? I ended up, as part of her Christmas present, Merry Christmas, or repaired AirPod Max Pros. That's expensive repair. And
yeah,
for only 1.5 years, 2 years of use was not
Just buy a different set of AirPods.
Or a
Yeah,
product that
so
doesn't crash after a year and a half,
yeah. So I was actually constantly given like different information. And now that you mentioned the price, they actually gave each person that I talked to gave me a different price too. One person said it was it's gonna be 270. Then another one said it was 271. Someone else said 275, and then the last person said 300. So I was like, why is
Well,
everyone
that person's
constantly
just
giving me
pocketing 30
misinformation?
bucks.
Yeah.
It's gonna be 350, 50 for
Yeah.
me.
But it's just so sad. I liked them. They were great, but if they're just gonna crap out on me, it's like why bother? So it's only a matter of time until these AirPods crap out because they're already starting to. Yeah, so soon I'll be switching over to the Galaxy, probably. Who knows?
Only time will tell. So
Yeah,
we do
but
have an
that's
email
oh, that's
from
right, we do.
we
That's
do. We
right.
have
All
one
right, and
one from our
yeah,
dusty cobweb infused email box from our friend Jacob. And Jacob, thank you for reaching out. Love the story. Do you want to read it or you want me to read it?
you can read it. I'm still fuming over Apple.
Fuming. Let me fume in peace. I'm so frustrated for Rob, especially because I just went through the same exact steps last December. It's like, all right, so Jacob says, unfortunately, I don't have a recipe for you regarding chili. I make mine using a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but I do have a funny chili story to tell. At my work, we had a chili contest one year. 15 people entered the contest with hopes of winning a $50 gift certificate. I worked hard over my spicy habanero chili. And side note, I know Jacob, his spicy is beyond my, like, not just threshold, but like I can't survive his level of spicy. Like I've tried it and it kills me. I'm like incapacitated. So yeah, his spicy habanero chili, he's probably got the highest pain threshold with spice that I know of anybody. He says, it was crafted to perfection, but ultimately proved to be too spicy for most. There we go. I came in third place that year, but the real story is about the winner. When asked for his recipe, he told the person he just got chili in cans from the store and put them in a crock pot. Long story short, apparently people like cheap stuff best. No need to spend more time, money, or effort when you can just throw canned chili in. Sarcasm. Keep it up the good work on the show. I enjoy viewing while working in the yard. And he's also been doing a lot of work in his yard. He's been sending pictures. He's been doing like digging trenches and building fences. It's incredible stuff. My fences would all fall down, but thank you,
Trenches and
Jacob. We appreciate
fences.
it.
You preparing for the zombie invasion?
That's what it looks like to me. He's got like a trench and like some spikes that come up.
Yeah, he has a turret at the corner.
That's the turret house.
It's storage right now, but it could easily be transferred over.
It's set up for a quick conversion.
Yeah. Well, Jacob, did you ever tell Ryan what brand it was?
No, he never told me. I don't think he remembers what it was. I think I asked and he said
Like,
I
was
can't
it
remember.
like what, Hormel or Stag or something?
Right.
Was it the knockoff brand? Was it Kroger?
Kroger. Non-name brand.
I need to know, but it is kind of funny when things like that happen. It's like,
yeah.
oh man.
But the thing is, they dial their recipes into like the general taste, what is it, the general desire, right? So they know what people want and they dial it in so that people like it enough and it's not superb in any one field, but everybody like likes it consistently. And that happens with beer quite frequently too, where beer will a brewer will make a beer that everybody likes pretty well, and it's their staple because nobody has a problem against it, nobody loves it, but nobody hates it. And if you get something where somebody loves it, some people are going to hate it for the same reason people love it. So you have to do that very, very fine midline, and that's what canned chili does, I suppose.
Yeah. Add a little bit of context if you're a new listener and you're just completely lost of why we're talking about chili. Yeah. It's because in the 2 episodes ago, the toast derivation, we had the IQ point of what makes chili chili. And I made the Texas chili. I made a bowl of red and it was
traditional
amazing.
Red. Yep. And I tell you, this might be one of my favorite IQ points so far for the show. Just in the past like 4 weeks that we've done that IQ point, it's come up like several times each week. I'm like, Did you know about chili? Do you know where chili comes from? Do you know why chili has beans in it? Have you ever heard about the chili queens? Like, it just keeps coming up. It's the
I
a
know.
key point that keeps given.
But thanks, Jake, and I'm glad you're enjoying. I think that's really it. I think we could
That's it.
probably get started.
All right, I'm gonna get a refill, and
Okay.
then we get back and dive into this. Season 4, episode 19, the Zarnecki Incursion. There, I pronounced it right this time. Incursion. Incursion. Uh, this aired March 31st, 2011. And we got some new names. All right, I don't recognize them. Directed by Peter Chakos.
He
And the
did one
writers,
earlier.
he's been on there earlier.
Yeah. It
All right,
was
so
it's either that or I just see I for some reason Peter Chakos, he's done like a lot of other TV shows too. So it's such a familiar name to me.
that's I think I looked it up, and he's like done some editing and some production as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and somehow he stepped in and directed this one. And then we have writers Chuck Lorre, Bill Prady, and David Goesch. Goesch, Goetsch. And yeah, I think he has done editing stuff. So nothing huge, not like Chuck Lorre's name, but been on other stuff, so recognizable nonetheless. And we actually have 2 guest stars in this episode too. So those are coming up. Okay, so we start off in the apartment, and Leonard walks in, and there's a cop. Our first guest star, Lanny Joan.
June? I thought it
and
was June.
June?
Is it June?
Lanny June, there we go. June, who I didn't recognize him. He's been in several single episodes. Apparently, he's been in several episodes of a show called Wolfpack, but I did recognize him from the movie Baby Driver with the guy who stars in Fault of Our Stars and Divergent. He was in the Divergent series. He was the brother. In Baby Driver, he drives around like he looks like a baby, and he's like the getaway driver, and he puts his AirPods in and drives around really fast. So if you want to see, yeah. Have you seen that movie?
No, as I went through Lanny June's resume on IMDb, I literally have seen nothing that he's been in. Like literally nothing.
I saw a couple episodes of stuff. I can't remember what they were, but nothing stood out. But when I saw Baby Driver, I'm like, yeah, I do remember that. Which for some reason, there's a movie with Ryan Gosling called Drive. Did you see that one?
Yeah, that one I did see.
And I feel like Baby Driver was kind of a
response to that.
Action, a little bit more action, a little bit more family friendly, not super family friendly. I'm not going to go that far, but a little bit easier. And Drive was more psychological, I would say. A little bit more artsy, maybe. Ryan Gosling and Drive, he's like such a psychopath. Like the first 2 things I saw him in was that and Lars and the Real Girl. And then I started like seeing him in other stuff. I'm like, dude, he actually does like other things. And then like when he was in Barbie, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense why he got Ken in Barbie. Like
yeah.
he's a good actor. I respect
yes,
him.
he is.
All right, so the officer is there, and Sheldon is breathing into a bag saying somebody has stolen everything. He's called 911 for a robbery, and Leonard is all upset, like, oh, what's going on? And it turns out somebody has hacked Sheldon's World of Warcraft account, and he's called the police on this. And the officer doesn't really seem to care, although I do respect that he's helping Sheldon calm down. He's like not just walking her away, he's like making sure everybody's okay.
He did say that he called the FBI first.
FBI
and it made me
first.
wonder if he called Agent Page, Eliza Dushku's character. It made me
That's a good point. I wish they would have called back to that.
I'm sure he had her business card.
Yeah. Hey, he told me to call when well, that would have been great. And block up. And I have my first IQ point about whether or not he would get help or if he's in the wrong for calling. But I want to get through a little bit more of this before I jump back to that. The cop is Sheldon. First of all, he calls him Mr. Cooper and says nothing can be done. And Sheldon breaks out of his hysterics to say Dr. Cooper, right? To really enunciate he's a doctor. And I love that the cop says, seriously? And Leonard says, don't worry, it's not the kind with access to drugs. And
his reaction was so good on that. Like, seriously?
Seriously? Yeah. That was a great reaction. And Sheldon says, okay, if you can't help, could you recommend a rogue cop? And the officer says, no, nothing like that. And Sheldon declares it's time to unleash the dogs of war. So Leonard calls Howard first, but gets Mrs. Wallowitz and says Howard's in the bath, so he'll have to get back to us after bath time. And then he's going to call Raj, but Raj is in Pilates. So, the dogs of war are,
A little
they've got
busy.
they're a little busy. They got busy schedules. So, anyways, this is one of the IQ points where I don't know if it's a full IQ point, but I disagree with the episode. I think the cops would probably behave professionally and file a report. I do believe the report would get filed in the folder of nothing's going to happen, but they want that filed nonetheless. So what I came up with was technically the FBI has something called IC3, which stands for Internet Crime Complaint Center. And it's designed for handling internet related crime and complaints. And they define internet crime or cyber enabled crime as including, but are not limited to, advance fee schemes, non-delivery of goods or services, computer hacking, or employment business opportunity schemes, and intrusion-based crimes such as ransomware and data breaches. They also have a section for cryptocurrency complaints, apparently. And looking into that, there's also a high recommendation to file reports with local police. Again, they're probably going to do nothing with this information, but what it seems like, they like to keep reports. So if anything starts like
building up,
if there's a recurrence or if something dates back to say, in 10 years, hey, there were a lot of issues with data breaches back in 2011, maybe it's connected. They want that filed. They don't just poo-poo it and say, what, this is stupid, we're not going to listen to you. So first of all, the FBI would probably put him towards the complaint center, and you can file a complaint online. From what I was seeing. And again, it's probably going to go into the ether of the world and you'll never hear from it again. But there are places to complain, and they do take it seriously because this is just a small feat in a larger issue of things. And again, with cryptocurrency, I guess this was before cryptocurrency was really a thing, but knowing that digital currency exists and actually is worth a lot of actual USD, US dollars, like that you can't just ignore and say, it's imaginary, it's data, it's fake, it's worth something. Not to mention what are they called, NFTs, non-fungible tokens. This is before that, but again, the notion is still there that if you have something that is digital and it is worth USD, you can file a complaint if it is stolen or taken from you because it is still worth financial currency. Anyways, most places also recommended reporting it to the business of the creator of the game, so Blizzard, right? And I was not sure why he didn't file a complaint with Blizzard, because not everybody, but I looked at several accounts online who've had issues. In fact, I watched a YouTube report of a guy who had his Rockstar Games account hacked and all his games stolen, and he filed a complaint with Rockstar. And basically, like, from what I understood, they're like, well, log into your account to verify. He's like, I can't log in, it's been hacked. But after verifying his identity and going through some steps, they were able to help him regain control of his account and regain control access to the games that he had purchased with actual dollars, right? So technically, I would say Blizzard would probably help him out. I don't know exactly what they would do, and it's probably a case-by-case scenario, but again, I would probably reach out to the feds. I'd probably make a local report, and I would reach out to Blizzard because, they like to keep account of things, but Blizzard's also going to work with you because they don't want to be held accountable for letting computer crimes go on. The feds are going to have a problem if Blizzard has 100,000 crimes, people are stealing shit left and right. Feds are going to say, yeah, you shouldn't be.
It's a major breach of data.
Exactly. It's a data breach, definitely. And so I also looked into this a little bit because I know we've done IQ points on stuff selling before, and I know that like some of the computer data stuff, it goes for thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm guessing he probably has, maybe $1,000, $2,000 worth of stuff on his ostrich, which he talks about, and equipment. But again, he talks about just it's the sheer number of hours he invested into the account. That's the problem. But I was curious because I've always heard that if you break that $1,000 line, it goes from being like a financial scam to a federal crime. And that's always been what I've been told. In fact, I've been told it's $1,000, and I was told like it's 2,000, 2,500. That was all hearsay. From what I could find online, there's no dollar amount that makes something more or less a crime. Again, if it's more money, it's probably going to pick up on the radar more. In fact, I was looking through forums, and somebody said he had money stolen from him, and the feds, his local department, said it only really hits the radar if it's more than $75,000. I saw some people say it has to be above $100,000. Nothing about that's official or written down, and I don't believe Sheldon had $100,000 in his World of Warcraft, so maybe that's part of it. But again, most of this goes to that for the several $100s, they're not going to blink an eye. It's not worth their time to actually investigate this, but they do want the report made. That's important to have filed so that they can kind of, make sure if there's a connection between other crimes going on. So anyways, that was my first IQ point, that I don't think the cop would blow him off completely. They would probably also recommend that he contact Blizzard, and I was kind of confused why he didn't contact Blizzard, that there's probably ways around this other than the routes he takes, although I love the route he takes and it makes a great episodes.
Yeah, I actually did a little bit. That's part of the research that I did, was I was trying to figure out how common World of Warcraft hacking really is.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't find an actual statistic. I mean, there were some forums of people saying that they got like hacked and stuff like that. And when I went to the Blizzard site, there's actually a section for like to file a report and submit a ticket and everything like that. That's pretty much it.
That's the guy who I watched with the Rockstar games said it was some hackers in China, and he didn't want to post their, like, he got the, well, that's part of it. They had like or email address that they switched his account to so they could get access to it. He's like, I don't want to give their email address. Like, he showed the letter that he got that was like in Chinese and stuff from Rockstar, I think it was. And he's like, I blocked out all the important information because I don't want my fans to go out and like harass them and then get hacked themselves, or for them to start hacking me even more. So like, yeah. Oh, you're muted.
To start a war or something like that.
Start a war. A war of Warcraft.
Yeah. The war of the World of Warcraft.
All right. So, I'm curious on that. I've only had, the only account I've ever had hacked was my Twitter account. And I don't use Twitter at all. And I kind of forgot I had it for like the first 3 years. And it was before I had two-step authentication. And once I set that up, like, I've never had a problem.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my Twitter account is hacked and is continually hacked because I can't log into it. I don't really care because I've never posted a single thing, and frankly, it's like, whatever.
Twitter's kind of a dying breed anyways. Or I guess it's X now. X, yeah. Right?
It's like the most toxic place in the world.
I'm making Kelsey watch Mr. Robot. Did you ever watch any of that?
I watched how far did I get? 5 episodes into it?
That's
it was good, and like I just season. Don't know why we stopped. I don't know why we stopped.
Right? Like, it's a great show, and I'm like, why did I not continue it after the first season? And there's like 4 seasons, so there's more. I'm watching it, and it takes place like almost 10 years ago, right? So like 2017, not quite 15 years ago. But it's funny because he's hacking somebody's account. He's like, oh, this is easy. Their pets, I don't know, I'm paraphrasing this. Their pet's name and the year they were born. And then it clicks. It's like, there's no 2-step authentication. Wait, they wanted me to hack them. I have to burn everything. And like, he starts burning his computer. He's like, this is a trick.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. Yeah. So yeah, we've watched 2 episodes. I'm like, I remember why I like this show, but I don't remember why I stopped. Okay.
It feels like it's like one really long episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah, it just keeps going. But the acting's great too. Christian Slater is phenomenal. I forget what his name is. Remy?
Remy Malek?
Yeah, he's fantastic. I love everything he's in. I wish he would get more parts. So
yeah, he did the biopic of Queen. Amazing.
Why am I always remember his name? David Bowie and
Freddie Mercury.
Fred Mercury, yeah. I usually remember that because I played trivia one time and we had to guess song names, and Under Pressure came on and I wrote down David Bowie and Freddie Mercury. And the guy goes, no, it's Queen. I go, no, it's fucking not. It's David Bowie and Freddie fucking Mercury.
Yeah. Wait, was this a trivia night?
It was a trivia night.
at like a bar or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet he got hell for that.
Nobody else really seemed to care. And he's like, the host is always right. I'm like, but you're wrong. You were wrong. It's Freddie Mercury and David Bowie. Like, technically it's David Bowie and Queen, but everybody knows like they worked. It's Freddie Mercury and David Bowie. And
yeah, for sure.
So anyways, I usually remember his name.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the intro, and then we go to the apartment, and the gang is working diligently on their computers. Sheldon is fretting and whining about spending 3,000 hours clicking his mouse, collecting weapons and gold. And he says it's almost as if it was a huge waste of time. And I get 1 point for this, for being like Sheldon, because the joke here is that video games are a waste of time. But I
Under
don't.
that logic, every hobby is a waste of time.
That's what I was saying. Technically, at the end of the day, everything's a waste of time. And people are like, well, you know, my argument is medicine. Medicine is probably the most, not humble, but one of the most honorable traits you can get into, that you can save somebody's life. You can bring them back from death. You can cure them from horrible diseases just so they can slowly die 40 years later. Everybody's going to die. The sun will burn up. The earth will turn to ash. Everything dies. Everything is a waste of time. So my thought process is that if art makes us happy and makes us feel alive and gives us value to what we do on this planet, it is every bit as valuable. And I talk to Kelsey about this sometimes, not, well, that too, but also she has this fear of cruises because she's like, I feel like I'm claustrophobic. I'll be trapped on a boat and there's nothing to do. And I go, technically the earth is a giant boat and you're trapped on it. She's like, don't say that. That will get in my head. So anyways, don't really, I get the joke, but I don't necessarily like it because technically at the end of the day, everything is a waste of time. We are finding ways to help each other, to get through the human experience together and feel a way to find reason in what life is. Anyways, side with Sheldon that it feels like a waste of time, but it's not a waste of time, even if it doesn't have value for other people. So the perpetrator was a great hacker, didn't leave a digital fingerprint. Raj says, I found an orc under a bridge who will help us track things down if we pay him. And we can trust him because he's a member of the Nigerian royal family. So Raj is already finding other scams and scammers. Howard says that somebody has put up on auction a jeweled ostrich bridle, but apparently Sheldon's ostrich that he's lost, his name Glenn, had a leather bridle because he was a very simple ostrich. So very, very nice. And Penny enters, and she enters kind of solemnly and mentions that Bernadette has told her about the stolen goods, which I think it's interesting that Bernadette told her and not Amy. So it must have come up while she was at work. But anyways, she has brought a day-old cheesecake to help cheer Sheldon up. And Sheldon kind of smirks at it. And Penny says, you should just say thank you. He says, I just did.
Well, a day-old cheesecake is still good. It's not going to be stale after a day.
I get 1 point for not being like Sheldon. Never look a gift cheesecake in the mouth. If somebody gives you a dessert, like I would say like 2 days old. I remember Kelsey used to bring me cookies from, I'm not going to mention any names, but an older company that she worked for. That were like 2 days old. Some of the best fucking cookies I've ever had. And something about them going like slightly stale made them crisp up a little bit, that I like them better than being fresh, because when they're fresh, they're like too soft, but they were fantastic. It's like 2 days old. I'll eat them in a day. They're not going to go bad or kill anybody.
Oh, yeah.
I remember, I'm not going to mention any other names, but my ex-wife worked at a coffee place that would donate their leftovers to a homeless shelter. And then the government stepped in and said, you can't do that. We can't monitor the quality of that food. You have to throw it away. And I remember hearing years later that the company was under scrutiny for saying, you just throw away this food. You're so horrible. You could be donating this. And I had to step in with people that I knew. I'm like, hey, they're not allowed to donate it, right? They tried and they get in trouble because there's no way to monitor the quality of the food. They are legally binded to throwing it away.
There are safety regulations and everything like that. Are they tracking lot codes? Are they tracking dates? It's exactly the same thing like why Starbucks got under scrutiny, because like they're known for like throwing away everything at the end of the day and people freak out. why can't you donate it? It's like, they would if they could.
If they could.
But even at my work, the production facility that I work at, it's like they have so many opportunities to donate things, and we jump through hoops in order to get it to like, but it requires a lot of documentation. It
I
just
mean, like,
requires to the point where it's like by the time we get this done, the food's going to be bad.
even think about like vehicle transport. Technically, the company Starbucks, for example, they don't own vehicles. So getting the food from the Starbucks location to the homeless shelter requires a vehicle that is not owned by Starbucks. And trying to monitor like temperatures, trying to duration, time, there are so many ifs, ands, or buts between those two locations that it seems really simple, but there's no way to document, and technically Starbucks isn't paying insurance on that vehicle, right? So yeah, there's no reason to cast too much blame. But anyways, I would not look that cheesecake in the face.
Yes.
Yeah, in the mouth. I think that is probably perfectly acceptable. Sheldon's just being kind of, he's pissed off. I would be pissed
He's
off too,
mad.
so
He's
mad.
hurt. But it was very nice of Penny to like even think of him and like to try to comfort him.
She's a great friend. She is.
Yeah.
And so Penny leaves and Priya starts to enter, and she mentions that she just dropped off a cheesecake because Sheldon was robbed. And I love the way she says, like, of a bunch of make-believe crap in an imaginary world. And Priya's response is like, I don't know what that means.
Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And it's so sad that Penny does know.
Yeah. You know, I have to question if Priya, it goes with her character. Like, I think she would probably know what that means. But at the same time, like, the way her character is developing, where she doesn't care about any of Leonard's video game crap,
Yeah.
I can see why she's saying that. So.
She does seem like a cool, chic girl. Like, she's a lawyer. I'm sure she doesn't spend all of her time playing video games. She's a very pretty, sophisticated girl. So I'm sure all of her boyfriends were probably on the sophisticated side too.
And as Penny says later, she's pretty. That's what matters.
Yes.
So Penny says, unfortunately, sadly, I do know what that means. Flash forward to Penny's apartment, and she is complaining about Priya to Bernadette and Amy. And apparently, Priya took Leonard to the beach to go rollerblading. And I love that Bernadette's like, feel like I'm supposed to say that, bitch, but I need more information. Very logical. And Penny explains that she had to really work to get Leonard to go to the beach, and that she actually had to carry him because he had a big fear of medical waste in the beach. And I didn't used to have this fear, but there is a movie, and I want to make sure I got this name right because I thought I knew it, but it's such a weird name. Yeah, okay, I was right. It's called Wrist Cutters, a love story.
Oh, I heard great things about that movie. I've never seen it, but I heard great things.
I think it's fantastic. I love it. It's very definitely a black comedy where people kill themselves. And when you kill yourself in this world, you go to another world that's very similar, but slightly worse. And apparently in that world, if you kill yourself there, you go to a world even worse. So nobody wants to kill themselves because they know it just gets worse from there. But they go to the beach to have like, it's been a long time since I saw it, but I remember them going to a beach to have like a nice day. And it's like a normal beach, but it's just covered in medical waste. Like anywhere you step, there's syringes sticking out and shit. And I'm like, oh God. So I can understand why Leonard's scared of that because of that movie. Other than that, it's a really funny movie and a fun movie. Funny and fun movie. But it's depressing too. So that take that to heart. So
I feel like this episode has been very dreary. And I just want to let everyone know we're not always like this.
We're not always like this.
If you're still with us after 47 minutes, we're not always like this.
It's usually about chili. I love chili.
We're usually having a much better time.
So Penny offers Bernadette and Amy ice cream, and I like that she's pouring Kahlua on it. And apparently Amy's never been offered booze before. So she's like, this is the peer pressure my mom warned me about. Give me some Kahlua. And
yes, please.
Yes, please. I've never had Kahlua on ice cream, but I want to try it now. It seems like it would work just fine.
Probably a long time ago I've had it. Yeah, it's good.
I think I've poured Bailey's on ice cream. I love ice cream, so. All right, so Penny, Amy takes like one bite and she's like, I'm drunk. She's already, yeah. Penny keeps complaining and mentions that when she used to take her bra off, Leonard would giggle and say, "My best friends." And I just, this is great interaction because she's complaining about that, but you can tell it's like this, she misses that, right? She loves how Leonard used to be. It was annoying, but also annoying like in a way that she enjoyed and appreciated. So like she's complaining about it, but she misses it, and we know she's missing it.
I took that a little differently. I actually
Really?
took that as like, I feel like whenever you date somebody, you're spending all this time molding each other into something else. It's not just her with him, but she was kind of like molding her too. You spend all this time and investment into a person to make them better, I guess, if that's what you want to say. You make them better only for them to land in the arms of somebody else. So it is a huge slap in the face, and I feel like that's what she's feeling, and that's why she's frustrated. We spent so much time together. I used to have to work so hard, and now that he's changed and adapted, he's doing it so easily with this new woman. Like, what the hell?
You know, I could definitely see some of that going on too, where she's like, you know, there's some pop song off. I'm terrible at pop music these days. About, what is it, like, she gets the better you or something? Like, that's one of the verses to it, or like, I made you better for her. I can't remember what it was, but it's exactly like you're saying, that we work together, we improve through a relationship. When we break up, we do some what's the word? Interpersonal introspection. We inspect our inner selves, right? And we try to be better people, and somebody else is going to get that better version of who we are than who we were in the relationship. But at the same time, like, that's part of what a relationship is, realizing like, hey, we need to work on each other or on ourselves and on the relationship to improve so that we can enjoy each other and not have a better version for somebody else. But yeah, I think you're right there. I was going to say that, the line reminded me of something I read online, little vulgarity here, but it was one of those, like, am I the asshole posts, right? Have you ever read those?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So like, they're starting to get marketed to me on Facebook, probably because I spend too much time reading them. But one of them was something like, my girlfriend comes in and makes her vagina talk to me. And like, he goes through the story, and I don't know, you know, is all anonymous, but basically he's like, I'm at my computer like typing, and she comes in, I look over, and her skirt's hiked up, and her vagina is talking to me like in an old man's voice, like, are you hungry? And he's like, am I the asshole for being mad at her? And like, everyone's like, you're the asshole, that's wonderful, like, she's happy, like, just deal with it.
I think that's great. She has a sense of humor. She's obviously very sexual, so it's kind of like, I'm not seeing the.
It's a good thing. Deal with it. Figure out your own shit. You have something wrong with you.
It's one of those things, like, there are so many worse things that could happen in your relationship. Like, you should just take that one.
She could be doing meth. Like, just go home, go to the bathroom, and meth it up. But it's talking to you. So, anyways,
I deal with her meth problem all the time. But when her vagina talks to me, I draw the line.
Once that vagina starts talking, goddamn it,
so inappropriate. But she shares her meth, so I guess it's all good.
She shares the meth. That's cool, and she only does it in the bathroom, so it's only cost
our
2 jobs.
Meth spot.
So yeah, my best breast friends joke, like, it's, you know, might be dumb, it might be silly, but at the same time, I see some humor to it, and.
But they should do it if it's every time, it'll get really old really fast.
Very quickly, yeah. It's not as funny as a talking vagina. That's just funny.
Well, I do think there is like a difference in when a guy does it versus when a girl does it. Like, there is a little bit of a difference. Like,
there is, and
I hate to say it, but like, I know it's a bit of a double standard, but it's kind of true at the same time. Where it's like, when a guy does it, it's like, dude, grow the fuck up. Whereas if a girl does it, it's like, sweet. Or maybe because all guys are immature on some level, and we're finally happy that the girl is sinking down to our level.
Showing us the vagina. We're seeing vagina. Yeah. Yay!
You're at my level now.
You're down here. Although, you know, it's like, you have to read the room. So if she's annoyed by it, you stop doing it. But at the same time, if that's your personality and she's not happy by it, then you know the relationship might not be right. And you find somebody who does appreciate that and enjoys it because that's who you are. Again, every single time might be annoying, but it says something about the relationship and the people in it too.
Sorry, I'm just thinking about talking vagina now.
Right? Hey, what would you like for dinner? This is great.
Buffet's open.
And I don't know if it was about that specifically, but I've talked to people and like, well, you have to consider like it's not fair to say that it's different between men and women, but you do think of a general political climate world that we live in where how many unsolicited dick pics do women get on a daily basis?
Yeah.
And like I've never had an unsolicited vagina pic. So like I can't speak to that. So like when it happens, like I can see the humor in it because it transposes those
I never
emotions.
really understood the point of the dick pic. I mean, how often does that really work? Like,
Right?
I would actually really be interested in that statistic. How often does a woman like receive a dick pic and it's like open
God, that's
for
a good looking
business?
dick. Dicks aren't good looking. No woman's
Yeah.
gonna say, "Wow, thanks for." It's some sort of weird power move. Although we get the naked man from How I Met Your Mother,
How
right?
about
Where
your
he
mother?
says like
Yeah.
1 out of 3 women it works with. So
No, it's
something.
2 out of 3.
Oh, it's 2 out of 3. 2
Yeah.
out of 3. You just show up naked, and
Yeah.
I don't know if those are real statistics, but I don't understand it for the life of me. 2 out of 3.
Okay. Enough with dicks. Let's move. I
Enough
think we should move
dicks
on.
talking vaginas. We're moving on. This is a weird episode. I love it.
I think I need to pour another drink.
Fair, yeah. I got to finish this crowler. So
You have a growler? Oh, that is a huge can.
right.
Let's mix my scotch with my vodka. My scotchka.
Scotch.
Did you ever watch The Room?
Yes. Yeah.
Taught with Tommy Wiseau, the world's worst movie or something, whatever they call it and everything. Then they made that what's his face? The two brothers.
Franco's, right?
Yeah, the Francos made the movie about the disaster artist, but it's just so funny that like they have the scotchka where she has like a glass of scotch and then like she just takes some vodka, just pours it in, and they get drunk and everything like that. And they just never even talk about it. They don't call it anything. It's just there. The old scotch.
The thing I really remember is the kid. He's like, "Up, you're trying to watch us have sex again. You have to go now." And he's like, "I'm watching you have sex." Like,
but I like being near you guys. So weird. Makes it even weirder that in real life he was like 10 years older than both of the actors, yet he was playing like a high school kid.
yeah.
That was the weird. That was like one of the weirdest. But that was such a God. The Disaster Artist is such a good book. If anybody like knows what we're talking about, just look into the Disaster Artist. Even if you don't know, just like
It's a story.
It was actually a really good audiobook because it was
Really?
actually narrated by one of the actors, the guy who plays Greg, like the main character.
Yeah.
It's actually like his like how he meets Tommy and all this stuff and everything like that. It's like this wild stories, but it's like I mean, I guess we have to assume it's true because it's his perspective of the situation of how they met, how they became friends, when they moved in together, when they decided to like make this movie, which is nuts.
And like they weren't bad people at all, right? Like from what I remember, like they're fine. They just wanted to make a movie and it didn't make sense.
Always like yeah, it just didn't make any sense. Like he was definitely had some issues.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could definitely like wait, we're deviating, just check it out. But
he wasn't attacking people or robbing people or hacking their World of Warcraft accounts.
Yeah, he definitely just had some. He was just
issues.
A very insecure person that latched on to a person.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of when you really think about it, this is like the great premise of a true crime thing.
Right? It could have gone a lot worse. That's all I'm gonna say. You expect the worst and you get the best. So,
yeah.
Okay, so Bernadette says she'll never talk to Priya again. You know, that bitch, right? And Penny says there's no reason for that. We can still be nice. And Amy says there might be a reason for that. And she brings up a new study out of Kyoto University by Nishida and Hosaka on Tanzanian chimpanzees. And apparently primates ostracize ill-mannered members of their troop. And this is my second IQ point. It could be failed. I'm not sure, but I don't believe that article exists. There are people. She's talking about somebody named Toshiada Nishida and Kazuhiko Hosaka, I believe. Nishida actually died that same year, June 7th, 2011. So technically could have been part of the study. And Nishida, was very, very well known in the chimpanzee community and did stuff like through the 60s, 70s, 80s on chimpanzees and is cited in a lot of stuff, a lot of different documents and articles. So there might be an article on this specifically. I couldn't find it around the same time frame, especially with Kashuhiko Hosaka, who I'm not sure if they're still alive or not, but I did find out that somebody with the same name who was a poodle breeder died last year. And I don't think it's the same person, but if you search the name, you find somebody who's playing with a lot of poodles. So that there's that. I don't think it's the same person though. So anyways, it could be true. And what I tracked down to the closest actual article was the collation strategies among adult male chimpanzees of the Mahale Mountains, Tanzania. However, two things. One, this is published in 2010, so it's kind of recent, August 4th, 2010. But it was published by Cambridge University Press, from my understanding. So not Kyoto University. And this article, it's kind of similar, and I could see some similarities between it. It discusses like something like 20 years worth of documentation research amongst chimpanzees of Mahal, and how the chimpanzees actually work together and form like alliances against their rivals. So there's some similarities, but I don't know if like they're just making it up just to be an offshoot, or if there's another article, but that's the closest one I could find. I did find a couple of articles published by Kyoto University that had Hosaka and Nishida as authors along with some other people, but they were on different topics. One that I found specifically was like the hunting patterns and their homing zones, like the area that they called home and how far they branched out and stuff. I didn't read the whole articles. They're very large articles, very complex for this, but I would say that I think they're kind of fabricating this article. Maybe, she's had a little bit of Kahlua, so maybe she's skewing the details, but I don't think this article exists in itself. But there is evidence to say what she's saying, that primates band together, and if there's somebody that they don't like, they do act out against that person that they don't like. They ostracize.
Nice. Yeah, I did. This was one of my failed IQ points. That's why it was this was probably the closest one that I had. But since I didn't really get as much information as I wanted, it's like, I don't know if I could justify calling this an IQ point.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really look into the specific article and the authors of the article. Like, I didn't look up Kyoto University. I was more interested in background of whether or not animals do ostracize amongst their own group. And ultimately the answer just seemed to be yes, but I just couldn't really track down. Like, there really wasn't a lot of information on this online that like specifically about like ostracization and how they identify like the bad seed in the group. There was an article that I had to pay for to like, but
I'm not going to pay for
like, well, if there is an article that it led me here, so it must be real, but I'm not going to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I did find this one book called Wild Justice that followed coyotes and their patterns, but apparently they do the exact same thing. So if there is actually an ill-mannered coyote in the group, they actually do kick it out. So it is amongst all the animals.
Before that, it's not just ill-mannered, but it's a part of Darwinism, right? Survival of the fittest. If there's a member that is lacking, that a group of animals often ostracize it because they don't want those genes breeding and incorporating. So like if somebody is disabled, oftentimes like I think it was a study amongst like, I'm making this up as I go, but I remember researching bullying and that coming up, that like, why do kids bully? Well, it's because in most animals, humans included, that our gene pool says if somebody's different, kick them out, make fun of them, and make sure they don't breed with you. And that way you don't have to worry about their genes contaminating. That sounds horrible, but that was the theory of why people do it. Not to make it right or wrong. It's just like subconsciously, like, they're different. I'm scared that how evolution is going to work. And so my reaction is to fight it off as opposed to accept it and make it a better place. Right. And so that's what I always heard growing up, is that it's actually a subconscious primitive part of our brain that we cut out what we don't understand or we are scared is weaker, or we fling poop at it. Right.
Yeah. Well, should we call this an IQ point or
up
should
to you?
We...
I just watched Gladiator 2.
Gladiator?
Like you said, it's a movie. I had some issues with it, but it was a movie.
I
But with the
will
thumb up,
say,
thumb down.
I will say, thumb up. Not
The
because of
gods have
what
spoken.
not because of what I went through and the ostracization of the ill-mannered members of the troop, but more of your research on the actual article itself. Was this a real research study? And the answer turns out to be no.
If somebody speaks differently, if you find something to say it that it is, I'd like to see what the article is. And I want to know who the poodle guy was. I saw so many images of poodle looking this up. Like,
We will call it an IQ point and marking it
One IQ
green.
point.
Yep.
Yay!
That's what I do. I mark things green on my
Fucking
notebook.
green.
All right.
Okay, so Bernadette says she doesn't really have the urge to fling poo at her enemies. But later on, they kind of say, "Oh, I do have the urge, right?" Amy says, "We all have that urge. Hit her with more booze, and she'll show them." I don't know what she's gonna show them, but she claims,
Don't hit her with more booze. Don't do it.
Don't do it. That's enough Kahlua. You're cut off, Amy. All right, so we're back to the apartment. The guys are on WoW, and they are at a tavern. This tavern is where you go to make shady deals. That's where shady deals go down. And Raj says his character shouldn't be there. Everyone keeps undressing her with their eyes. Howard says, Raj, you need to stop dropping your sword and bending over to pick it up. I almost gave me a point for being like Raj here. I've never done that, but I do often play female characters, and I have had guys call me out like, if you're not a woman, why are you playing it? I'm like, I don't know, it's just something to do with my life, right?
Well, it's fun. It's like in Diablo 2. The Amazon is like the best character.
Right?
Lightning Javazon? Come on, that's like the best character.
And it just look cool. Yeah, I don't know. You do what you got to do.
It's a completely different class of character with different skills.
It's a video game. Live your life. Have fun,
it's
right?
Not, like, there is no hidden meaning that I secretly want to be a woman. I mean, or if you do, that's cool too. But it's like, come on.
But I do think it's funny that Raj is like acting like they're the creeps, but he's dropping his sword. Like, yep, gotta
He
pick
likes
this up.
it. Oh, yeah.
He's owning it.
And later on, he's like, okay, I'll have sex with him.
Right?
Okay. You twisted my arm. I'll do it.
I didn't want to anyways. So they're looking for a redheaded troll named Glumly. And Priya comes in, and some more character development. She is kind of upset because she says we were supposed to spend time together, and asks if they'll be done soon. And I love Leonard's like, you could create a character. She's like, what the fuck? And he's like, you just need a credit card number. Like, that helps. And she's like, okay, I'm just going to go home. The troll walks in, and they threaten to file a complaint with his ISP. They make some jokes about that. And Leonard says maybe they should play good goblin, bad goblin. This is where Raj says, I'll have sex with him. And we've done IQ points on this before. You can't really have sex with them, but you can kind of dance up with them, right? We talked about this a little bit.
You plan to jerk off into the mic.
Microphone jerk off. Which Raj would have to disguise his voice at least a little bit. I don't know. Maybe he's into that. Goblins are weird. Priya leaves, says it's sexy to date a boy trapped in a man's body. And Leonard's like, good, that's great. And then Sheldon says, even I can understand that sarcasm. So Leonard's trying to think positively. And that was kind of rude of Priya to say. Yeah, as much as like I liked her before, they are playing up these characteristics very well slowly. And like, okay, she's not a good match and we're not enjoying her company, right?
A lot of people really do frown on like the whole video game playing.
Yeah, and again, I don't see a reason for that because there's so many worse things you could do with your life. And
well, we also talked about like people that play video games, it's not for naught. It's like it actually does help you problem solve. It helps you strategically planning, hand-eye coordination. Like these are real things that video game players have. Like we did this IQ point.
And if somebody's happy doing it and they are a good person who is a great partner, let them. In fact, I kind of look down more upon her not trying to get into his hobby or seeing how she could relate. That says something more about her than it does him, right?
Wait, did it already happen yet, or am I getting ahead? Because she does she will.
Oh, she hasn't yet.
Okay.
Spoiler?
Just
she hasn't yet that I know
sprinkle in like a little, like she will.
Something might happen.
She will. Don't worry. When it happens, you'll know. It's like, ooh.
It's going to be very clear. What we do know is she does know that her brother Raj has the woman's uniform from Star Trek. That's the most we've gotten about her, which is also partially if she knows about that uniform and that her brother owns it, then she would know something about fake stuff in a digital world, what Penny was saying. But it's funny. I like it. All right, so we're in the hall, and Priya is leaving right as Penny, Amy, and Bernadette also walk out. And I don't like the kind of gang thing they got going on, but it is funny. And I love that Penny's actually, she's still trying so hard to be nice. I love that about her.
She invites her out for a drink. Yeah.
Amy's like, well. And,
Bernadette, too.
Yeah, Bernadette's like, count your blessings, you're not a Tanzanian chimp. And Penny says not to listen to them. They've had a whole lot of ice cream because they've been drinking Kahlua with it. And then offers, like you said, she invites Priya with her. She's still trying her hardest just to be a good person. And they start heading down, and Amy makes the comment, 4 women head down the stairs. How many reach the lobby? So they're picking on Priya. Although I don't know if she really understands what they're saying because they're kind of in their own...
Yeah, they're kind of in their own bubble right now.
Kahlua world.
Yeah.
The next day, they're at the cafeteria, and Leonard asks Raj if Priya said anything. He thinks she might be mad. And Raj says, don't get me in the middle of this. Probably nothing to worry about. A lot of women stay up all night Skyping their ex-boyfriends. So it's probably not great, although Raj might be fabricating a little bit of this.
I think he's dicking with them.
He might be dicking. Yeah, I think so. But, there's probably a little kernel of truth in there. I don't know what it is, but...
Maybe she's texting him.
Or, replied to one email, stop emailing me. And Raj's like, Skyping all night. Howard says, good news. They found the hacker, and Sheldon says he's never said it before, but good job, Howard. And Leonard says the hacker's probably some loser that lives with his parents. Howard kind of freezes up. He's like, he does live with his parents.
Yeah, total loser.
Sheldon says they can box him in at the end of his cul-de-sac and that they can plan on knocking on the door and demanding all of his stuff back. And then he says that there's been a lot of advancements in torture, which I don't know how Sheldon's going to torture anybody, but Leonard says nobody's going to get tortured. Sheldon starts giving a speech about getting bullied and that they've had enough and that their trapper keepers have been stolen one too many times, basically. And tonight they were going to regain their pride. Who's with him? And Raj says he has an aerobics class at 5. And Howard says it's the Sabbath, but if they could leave after he lights his candle with his mom, it's all good. And Leonard says doesn't know if he can ditch Priya 2 nights in a row. And Raj, I love as much shit as Raj was giving him. He's like, come on, man, bros before. And he stops. He's like, before my sister.
Yeah.
Instead of saying ho. They decide they are all in, and Sheldon, they put their hands in the middle as joining up, and Sheldon puts a cloth on it and says, I'm here to catch a cyber criminal out of cold. Flash forward to Howard's house, and his mom...
I did a little bit of research on some things that weren't really... They definitely didn't seem like enough, but I did a little bit of research on a couple of things in this scene. I actually looked up the address of Todd Zarnecki.
Ooh.
2711 Ocean View Road, Carlsbad, California. And it is not a real address. There is an Ocean View Drive in Carlsbad, though. Instead of Ocean View Road, it's Ocean View Drive. So, not a real place. But the Ocean View Drive, the real one, actually is about 1.5 hours away from Carlsbad. And it actually is in a cul-de-sac. So they actually got that part right.
So I'm going to double down on this. And I didn't do research on it, but it came up this week because Kelsey is a big fan of Gilmore Girls. And I've tried watching it. I just can't get into it. I think it pisses me off because every episode is basically, it's like, this is the Christmas episode. And it's not a Christmas episode. It's just that's the motif of the show is every episode seems like a holiday episode, but it's not an actual holiday episode. Snow on the ground, there's bells playing, people are saying fa la la, but it's not, there's no Christmas. I've watched 2 seasons and I'm just like, So if you're a Gilmore Girls fan, let us know why you watch it. Are there actual holiday episodes in it? I don't know. But
So Gilmore Girls fans, why?
why? But
yeah, I watched the first episode because I think Christina watched it a long time ago, and then she, like in the spirit of like rewatching things, I watched the first episode, and I didn't hate it, but I just, I couldn't. I mean, I don't know. I just didn't as a cis male, I did not find it relatable. So sorry, I guess.
I don't blame it on being a cis male. I blame it on not having that strong of a relationship with my mom. I think there's something to be said about it's the mother-daughter relationship that pulls a lot of people in. And I've dated women who had that same relationship, and I can see why they want a show that relates to them in that way. And I'm like, I don't relate to this at all. And that's totally fine. I just, I can understand why I never picked it. But maybe it's the cis male.
I mean, it's not because we don't. I mean, it's like we said, it's like the mother-daughter relationship. So
that's a big thing.
Our show.
It's a single mom raising a daughter in a patriarchal society, and I can see why that could interest a lot of people. And for me, it's like also it's in a New England setting that's so quaint and imperfect, or I mean perfect, maybe not perfect, but it's idealistic in a lot of ways where everybody knows each other. And I grew up in a world where people like basically piss on you in the gutter while you're dying, and I'm like, I don't see that world. That's not my world. It's a different world. Anyways, the point of this is that they brought up cul-de-sac. What's the plural of cul-de-sac?
Cul-de-sacs? No.
That's what I said. It's French, so it's actually cols de sac.
Oh, the S is after coals, so coals de sac instead of cul-de-sacs.
And I hate that so much. I don't know why it bothers me, but it like gets under my skin. Cols de sac. So, anyways, when I was watching this,
well, we just learned something.
It's just like IQ points.
Yeah, I guess this is an IQ point because of cul-de-sac.
Cul-de-sac. But watching this episode, I'm like, fucking A. Like, what are the odds that cul-de-sacs would come up twice in 1 week after a big conversation about Gilmore Girls? And now he lives at the cul-de-sac.
I've never actually wondered why it was called cul-de-sac. I lived in the cul-de-sac.
I live in one now. It's not at the end, but it's down the way of
I actually live in one now too.
No.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch
we're talking about cul-de-sac.
Cul-de-sac. There's a movie called Vivarium, I believe, with
it's the bottom of the sack. No, that's
what it translates to.
Yeah, it translates. It's French. It literally translates to bottom of a sack.
So is coals the bottom, or is? Oh yeah, it would be
in the bottom of the
bottoms
sack.
of the sack. Coals the sack. Bottoms of the sack. Yeah, there's a movie called Vivarium with Jesse Eisenberg and Imogen Potts. If I mispronounce that, I'm not looking at her name right now, but the guy from Social Network and Now You See Me and
Jesse Eisenberg, yeah.
Yeah. They're a couple and they're looking for a new house, and this real estate agent takes them to like this house and is like, haha, fuck you, and like disappears, and they're stuck in this cul-de-sac, and like all the houses are empty and they can't get out, and they drive around and they just end up at the same place, and there's a baby on the porch and it's like, raise me, and it kind of starts to realize that it's some sort of alien race or monster race, and they have to raise the baby and they get killed. It's
wait, what's this called again?
I want to say it's Vivarium, and I'm just remembering it because our friend Taylor mentioned, you remember that god awful movie you made me watch? He mentioned this yesterday with Jesse Eisenberg and Imogen Potts, and I'm like, yeah, Vivarium. It wasn't great, but what a movie! I'm thinking of cul-de-sacs. It's all about cul-de-sacs.
Yeah. I'm looking it up now. Vivarium. So weird.
It's such a weird movie. I didn't hate it. I can't recommend it. And Potts? I say Potts.
Poots. Imogen Poots.
She deserves all the roles she gets. She's amazing. Fantastic. She's great in this. She was in a movie called Green Room where she plays, it's about a punk band who plays at a neo-Nazi place, and they witness a murder. And the neo-Nazis try to kill them because they've witnessed a murder. And it's got Sir Patrick Stewart in it, who plays a neo-Nazi.
Oh my God.
She helps fight Sir Patrick Stewart. It's Amazing. But recently, in fact, I don't even know if it's out yet, she's in a movie called The Chronology of Water, which is the memoir of, what's her last name? I'm so bad with names. I apologize to everybody. Lydia Yukonovich. And apparently, from what I've heard, Kirsten Stewart directed it. And Kirsten Stewart, like, basically camped out wanting the script because she loved the memoir so much that she wanted to make this movie. And I'm like, Kristen Stewart's a fun character. I love the memoir. It's a great book if you check it out. And Imogen Poots is, sorry, somebody's bringing a semi down the path and all the dogs are barking. Chronology of Water, Imogen Poots, and great actress, and maybe not a great movie, but it has to do with cul-de-sacs.
Fucking cul-de-sacs, man.
Cul-de-sacs. Cul-de-sac. That's going to be a hard one. I don't think I'm ever going to get used to that. All right, so...
And I'm not Jewish, so I was wondering about the Sabbath. Because I didn't really... I've heard the term before, but I've never really known what it actually was. So sorry, but I am not Jewish. So I did a little bit of research on the Sabbath.
You know, that scratched a part of my brain. I didn't do research, but I'm like, isn't the Sabbath Saturday? So why are they working on a Saturday if they're going to...
That's what I did research, I was like, about this, and I was like, wait a minute. Like, wait, are they there on a Saturday? Because...
Good catch.
So the Sabbath is traditionally celebrated on the seventh day of the week, or a Saturday. But technically, the Sabbath actually starts Friday evening. So that's when it actually starts. So it actually kind of checks out. Based off the episodes, this was aired March 31st, 2011, which was a Thursday. Technically, he got hacked on a Thursday. They do all their hunting overnight. They meet up on Friday at work. It's the Sabbath that night because it starts on Friday night, and goes into the Sabbath. So
it makes
like,
a lot of sense. It's the same reason we say Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve is the beginning, the start. My understanding of this is because in ancient cultures, the days ended at like dusk, and the new day started when it got dark out. So technically, the night before was the same day as the day of. And then when it got dark again, so Christmas Eve is part of Christmas. And then when it gets dark, that's the end of Christmas and the next day. So the Sabbath would be the Friday night.
Yep, it checks out. And I looked at if Wheel of Fortune was actually played on the Sabbath, Friday night. And it checks out because it actually historically has switched many days. So it checks out.
Did you ever watch Wheel of Fortune? Because I'm really confused. Apparently, Howard's mom is bleaching her mustache, which I don't understand why she wouldn't just wax it or shave it. Like, bleaching it seems harder than actually just shaving it.
Yeah.
But from the bathroom, she yells the answers, and she yells fanny pack of wolves. And I don't know what the fuck that even means.
Oh, I didn't actually look up what the answers were.
I looked up fanny pack of wolves, and I saw a fanny pack with wolves on it.
Yeah, you're right. It's actually an actual fanny pack of wolves.
Why would that be an answer? And then I was like, maybe I just don't watch enough Wheel of Fortune. So if anybody out there knows Wheel of Fortune or what that fanny pack of wolves means.
Yeah, because the clue was before and after, 4 words, 17 letters, 2 N's, 1 V. Yeah, I don't know what that is, but
And then I was thinking maybe the answer is supposed to be something else, but her answer later is it seems like she actually gets it right later. Did I write down what it actually was?
Yeah, she gets all of them right.
Yeah, and I just didn't understand what fanny pack of wolves was. Like, I was like, maybe it's supposed to be dances with wolves, but I rewatched and like the clues don't add up to dances with wolves, so I don't know. All right, so Leonard's phone rings and it's sitar music, and Raj looks at him, not cool, dude. And that's not cool. I agree with Raj. It's actually really fucked up to do to your girlfriend. I don't know.
Play like a love song or something like that.
Or something, or just like hi, like a recorder voice saying hi, and like or just a regular ringtone, just a ding ding. I don't know. I have my phone on mute so much that I don't even know. But Leonard says he'll be working late on a Friday night, apparently, as we've discussed, and he misses her too. And Raj says that was very nice that he lied to his sister, giving him shit though. And Howard says that's the nicest thing he does to your sister. And Raj says she'll have, or apparently Priya calls Raj right afterwards. And so we see some trust issues here, right? That Priya
Yep.
gets off the phone and then calls Raj, like, is he really working late? And Raj says, you're going to have to trust whatever excuse the white devil will tell you. So
Yeah.
he backs him up, but in a way that's like, I
Very
love you,
bad.
Raj. That's awesome. Howard's mom guesses the next Wheel of Fortune. Howard says it's her superpower, and well, that and her jiggling fat from her arm. And that reminded me of, did you ever watch Pete and Pete?
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
don't. The only thing I remember from Pete and Pete is that he used to burp in a bag and keep it.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, there was a whole episode dedicated to him like saving his burps. He had like a paper bag with burp into it and save it. It was so weird.
I remember the, like, I don't know, 10-year-old had like a tattoo of a dancing woman for some reason. Nobody knows how he
That's
got
right.
it.
Yeah.
But I also remember that there was a woman down the lane who had like a fat on her arm, and when she like watered her flowers or something, the fat on her arm would jiggle. It would hypnotize them. They're like, look at that fat. So I don't know, when they say that's her superpower, I'm like, just remember that episode. Like, look at the fat on her arm. The blub.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me. Talking about movies, have you watched or heard of, what is it called? I Saw the TV Glow.
It sounds really familiar, but
I, again, can't say it's fantastic, but it's a movie. It's got Phoebe Bridgers in it. I love Phoebe Bridgers. She plays herself playing a song. But it's basically about these people who start watching a TV show that's kind of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And they start to realize that they might be the people in the episodes that they're watching, that they are the vampire slayers.
that they're the characters in the show.
Yeah. But what brings it up is Pete and Pete has a character called Mr. Frosty that's like an ice cream man, and they spend an episode trying to figure out where he goes in the wintertime. But in that movie, there's an evil villain that's Mr. Frosty, and he like kills people with ice cream. I'm like, that's fucking Pete and Pete. Okay. So moving forward,
Yeah.
they're in the car and they're on their way to San Diego. And Raj suggests staying the night and going to Legoland in the morning. Sheldon says they should go to SeaWorld. I get a point for being like Raj here because I really don't like SeaWorld. I never liked it. I like Legoland over SeaWorld. And I know SeaWorld has changed a lot, but like it always smelled like dead fish to me. And I freaking love Lego. So I would definitely be over on Legoland over SeaWorld. And they're supposed to focus on Todd Zarnecki, the hacker. Raj gives them a CD of hero questing music. And on the CD it says Beyonce Bootylicious Dance Mix. Apparently it's a rewritable CDR, and Raj has put questing music on it, and it starts to play, and it is the Ride of the Valkyries. My third and final IQ point for the episode. I don't believe this could happen.
The
A
rewritable
rewritable CD would not work in that car.
I kind of thought about that too. Like, I actually thought about that because, yeah, rewritable CDs never worked in my cars.
They didn't. And so I looked into why this is exactly, and I looked at howstuffworks.com. If they replace the CD player with one that could work, I don't think that exists for a car, but for the most part, it wouldn't work. So what we have, commercial CDs. They are created through a lot of plastic, but basically they have a shiny surface, aluminum or whatever, and then a bumpy surface placed on the aluminum. And when a laser hits the bumps, it creates an imperfect reflection. And so the laser, basically all it needs to know is a 0 and a 1, yes or a no. Either it's a perfect reflection or an imperfect reflection. And we see this with all the different types of CDs created. But for the original commercial ones, there's bumps pressed into plastic, and the laser hits the bump. It's imperfect. It's a 0, I think. If it's perfect, it's a 1, maybe vice versa. Home CD burners were released. Home CD burners don't create ridges or bumps in the plastic. What they do is the CDs were created with dye in them, a type of pigment, I guess. And when a home CD laser burns them, it's actually heating up enough to cause the dye to like basically release to make either an opaque or clear segment. And so it's working the same. Bump in the CD would cause the laser not to reflect. Dye causing an opaque segment causes the laser to not reflect. Basically, either the laser reflects or it does not reflect. In a commercial one, it's based on bumps. And a home CD, it's dye. either blocking the laser or allowing the laser to go through. CDRWs are different though. They are rewritables. You can erase them and start over. That means that if something's permanent, you can't erase something that's permanent. So they work differently. They work with what's called a phase-changing compound, a mix of silver, antimony, tellurium, and indium. And basically, this compound, depending on the heat, it can either turn into like a liquid mass or it can crystallize. And when you buy it, it's all crystalline. And when you burn it, the laser heats up and causes the crystalline, the perfection, to like basically break down into a liquid. And if it's crystal, it's clear. If it's not crystal, it's not clear. Zeros and ones, right? To erase it, basically the laser heats everything up and keeps it a certain temperature for so long and recrystallizes everything and makes it a blank slate. Problem with this is that crystalline compound is darker than other CDs. It's darker than the physical bumps. It's darker than the dye, which means the whole thing can't be read in normal CD players. There are CD players that can read it, but they have to be specifically designed, and they're usually newer as well. There's no reason that Leonard's car that's about to break down would be able to read that CDRW.
Gotcha.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest now. I've been screwed over a lot with CDR.
God, you opened up a flood of memories. How many 100 packs of CDs that we used to get, me and my brother, just so we could burn new mixes and stuff like that. And looking back, it's like, wow, my dad was actually really cool about that. Just let's go to Costco. Oh, can we get some more CDs? Sure, just throw it in.
Right? That's what I remember going to Sam's Club. We didn't have Costco in Pennsylvania, so we went to Sam's Club. My son was like, "You want a 20-pack of CDs?" I'm like, "Yes, please."
I'm gonna burn the hell out of this CD.
I remember learning what the word verbatim means because I got verbatim CDs. I'm like, the fuck are they called verbatim? My dad goes, that means word for word. I go, oh, like data for data.
Yeah.
Exactly the same, word for word. And it's like, yep.
God, we had so many mixes, so many things. God, making CDs for your friends and everything. We did that a couple of times. I got some, you gave me some really good music. That was such an art form back in the day.
It was an art form, and you learned about so much. I guess we have
so much about your
now
friend
to recommend stuff, but hearing about it from your friends was something.
Well, I feel like it was such an intimate thing. Let's just exchange CDs of your favorite music, and you'll be able to hear my favorite music and everything like that. I feel like music is a piece of your soul. Not to be melodramatic and stuff like that. Boy, we're in a weird mood today, but it is
a weird podcast.
We're in a weird episode. Please
Thanks
don't
for joining us, everybody.
If you're still listening, but it really is your music is such a personal choice to you. It's a very vulnerable thing to these are my favorite songs. These are the songs that speak to me. And for a lot of people, my music was not received well. So when I actually did meet somebody that actually enjoyed my music, I was like, oh, I'm clinging to you forever.
You're mine.
I just gave you my soul, and now I'm taking your soul in the form of this disc.
I remember I had a friend in high school who were simpatico on music, and we kind of stopped talking through the years, and I'm sad about that, but great on music. And I remember one year I made a music mix, and handed it to all my friends at school. And he came back the next day, was like, God damn it. I was all in the Christmas fucking spirit. Rand gave me that Christmas mix, and I was fucking jamming out to it. I went to a movie, came out, and somebody had broken into my car and stole my CD player. God, Merry fucking Christmas. He's like, so could I get another one of those CD mixes? I'm like, yeah.
I need another one.
But that was it's such a part of your soul that we don't have today.
No, it's what? Can you share your Spotify playlist?
Right?
That might be but even that's so impersonal because I remember you always got about somewhere between 18 and 21 tracks, depending on the length of the song.
And you had to make them right, and you had to make them play well next to each other as well. You couldn't just throw them all in. You had to make them play as a whole progression.
That's the way it is. That's the track list. There it is.
I
Like
remember
kids today will never understand. Like you and I are that age. Like I bet you did a mixtape, right?
I was just gonna
Yeah,
say I
I
learned the art form from my dad who would make mixtapes from vinyl. So he'd play the record and
yeah.
record it to a tape. And he's like, "This is how you do it." I'm like, okay, this is art. You have to really think about it.
Yeah, my mom showed me because like she used to do it all the time too, like record hours upon hours of the radio.
hmm
Like just to find like because you have to wait for your favorite song to play on the radio, and then like once you got it, then you could clip that and put it on a different disc.
I
It was a
never had to do
straight
the
up
radio
hobby.
thing, but I did do vinyl and I did ISPs. So predating Napster, like you could log into different accounts and get music that way. But it was also like 56K. So you're looking at like a 2 hour download for one song that could screw up. So
Yeah,
it
I
was
remember
like,
those days.
I know by all means I'm stealing more now by having a digital account like with Apple, like listening to songs like 5 times. Like I know they're making
Well,
less
you're not
money.
stealing. You're paying a subscription.
Yeah, that's, but I feel like they don't make much money. They make like hay pennies on like every listen. And like if I liked a song, I'd go out and buy the album. I miss those days.
Nah, buying an album is like such a crapshoot.
It really was. But if you liked one song, you're like, I really fucking love this song and I want to support this band, and you made it.
It's yeah, it was worth like the $14.99 for like 12 tracks, and you only like three of the songs.
And you also listen to those other 12 tracks. Like you actually like
Ugh,
you're like, I spent a fucking $10 on this CD. I'm gonna listen to those. And now
I
it's like
will like this.
with Spotify and Apple Music, I listen to the one track and I'm like, oh, there were other songs on that track, and like I forget to listen to the whole thing. This world and these kids, I don't know.
I know. We're so old.
We're so old. Okay, so anyways, the CD player in the car would not read the CDRW. I am convinced of that. I believe that the article probably doesn't exist. It might exist, but in this case, the CDRW would not work on that car. But I do love Raj's reaction. He says Beyonce is curvy and she owns it. He likes that.
Yeah.
Love that attitude. The ride starts, Ride of Valkyrie starts. They shows that they are stuck in traffic and that they wish they would have taken the train. Next scene, they are at Zarnecki's house, and Sheldon has brought a batolith. They decide that they're not going to stab people, so I don't know why he's really brought it. In fact, they knock, and Sheldon says, "This is your doom," and they talk about how nobody's going to answer the door if you say it's your doom when they say who's there. Your doom? Don't say that, right? So Sheldon says it's a basket of puppies, and Zarnecki does answer the door. Guest star Zarnecki is played by Chris Reed, which I didn't really notice anything he's been in, but apparently he was in a lot of Sons of Anarchy. So if you watch that show, he is recurring here. But he was in a lot of different shows as well. Sheldon says he wants his things back. Zarnecki says no, and that he's always wanted a batolith, and just takes it from Sheldon and walks away and closes the door. And Sheldon says he's more cunning than they thought. So they're on a car ride back, and Sheldon mentions that batolith was worthless without a certificate of authenticity. Raj mopes as well
So
because
I looked at the value.
oh yeah.
Yeah, because I was a little curious. It was like because like we've done this before. We looked at the values of some of the props that they talk about and everything like that. Some of the toys and the collectibles. So if this was a collectible, the one that I found that had the most value was on eBay, and it was a legitimate prop replica with the certificate of authenticity is valued at about $2,000. And then there's $185 in shipping.
You know, I have to say that's probably worth more than everything Sheldon got stole from him.
Probably.
But with what Sheldon had sold from him, it's the hours that he spent, his personal investment, I suppose.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah.
So Raj is getting mopey and says that his Legoland is nothing but a hollow dream right now. I would be sad too. The car starts to break down, and Leonard says, "Does anybody know anything about a combustion engine?" And they all raise their hands. He goes, "Does anybody know how to fix one?" No way. That was one of the other deja vu moments. Is like, for some reason I remember seeing them all saying, "Yay, yay." Next scene, they are all in Penny's car, and Sheldon thanks her. I like that. Thank you, Penny. Penny starts making these comments that she thinks it's really interesting that they didn't call Priya it's really interesting that Leonard lied to Priya about what he was doing. Apparently, she doesn't get the gaming thing. And Penny, this is where she makes the comment, well, as long as Priya's pretty, right? So a little snippety, but I agree with her that Leonard's kind of in this, as long as she's pretty. Howard says that this one's funny. Why did Leonard let her get away? But again, like I'm still curious now because it seems like Penny's interested, but Leonard never let her get away. She didn't want to be with him. She wasn't ready for that commitment. So it's like we're twisting some of the facts, I suppose. But it's funny. And at the same time, I think Penny's still working her own shit out. And Penny turns the car around and says, we are going to finish this quest the way we do it in Nebraska. And they give her the CD and she's like, oh, Beyonce, wonderful. Puts it in, Ride of the Valkyrie starts playing, mentions this isn't Beyonce as they head back to Zarnecki's house. Back at Zarnecki's house, Penny demands Sheldon's stuff back. Zarnecki's basically like, no, I'm not going to do it. And she says, well, this is a good day. A girl is going to touch you in your little special place. And then kicks him in the crotch really, really fucking hard. He falls over and says he'll give the stuff back. Sheldon jumps for joy and says, we did it. Apparently, even though Penny was the one who did it for all of them.
He said we.
I said we did it. Back at the apartment, Penny holds the door open for Priya. She's going to see Leonard, and they walk up all the flights of stairs in complete and utter silence. And I like Penny actually pulls her phone out one point and starts checking her phone as they continue walking up. And as they break away, she's like, okay, good. And then as Priya closes the door, Penny says, Amy was right. I do want to fling my poop at her. So Penny is kind of upset with Priya.
She's jealous.
She's jealous.
She has her man.
Good episode. I love that. And Penny was there not for Leonard. She was there for Sheldon. It's good friendship bonds.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. It had nothing to do about the romantic relationship. It was friendship. And I appreciate that. And Sheldon needed it. I feel like Sheldon would be there for her too if she needs it. In fact, I would like to see an episode where flip-flops, where Sheldon really gets in. In fact, this episode, I was saying, these guys are probably better hackers than most of the police and feds that would be put on the case. And we see that with Howard being able to track down who did it. And so we see something where Howard helps Sheldon out, where, again, shows good friendship. And I would like to see where Sheldon helps other people out with his intelligence a little bit more, too.
Yeah, that would be good to see him.
It's
trying to think if we see that anytime soon.
No.
Put a pin in that.
So we're at the vanity card, and it's a fucking long one. So
yes, suck it, bitch.
Jesus Christ. Chuck Lorre Productions 337. Whenever I've gone through tough times, well-meaning people have told me that God, the universe, does not give us more than we can handle. Well, I've been going through a tough time recently, and sure enough, that old saying has been tossed my way on several morose occasions. After some careful consideration, I've decided it's bullshit. As an aphorism, it only makes sense in hindsight. After you've managed to crawl from the wreckage of whatever calamity that God, the universe, decided to toss at your way, no one ever uses it to comfort someone who's been hit by a bus or turned into a puddle of goo by flesh-eating bacteria. Although, in the right circumstance, that could be a hoot. Another thing I hear a lot is, this too shall pass. Again, I know these are words meant to reassure, but somehow they always leave me feeling that heartbreak, rage, and grief are going to come shooting out of me like kidney stones through an inflamed urethra. For someone in crisis, I think a more accurate and helpful assessment of reality would be love, sex, food, friendship, art, play, beauty, and the simple pleasure of a cup of tea are all well and good. But never forget that God, the universe, is determined to kill you by whatever means necessary. Consider trying that next time you're called on to do some consoling. If you're feeling impish, you might also try, according to the rules of comedy, your suffering will be funny after an undetermined length of time. Maybe not while you're having your Gangrenous leg sawed off, watching your home burn down, or learning how to be intimate with your cellmate. But in the big scheme of things, soon.
Yep, feeling
That was a
that
long
burn of
one.
his life.
I agree with him. Anybody who says God only gives you what you can handle, I'm like, you say that up until the point somebody jumps off a cliff, and then suddenly God didn't gave him too much, or they were wrong. It's like, wait, it doesn't make sense. So I think he's whining about his divorce, which I've done before, so I can't complain too much. But I don't like that saying. It really displaces much needed sympathy, empathy, and condolences.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to say. I had something I was going to say, but like, yeah, there's a lot of words that I just lost it.
That's a lot of words. I think that's the longest one we've had.
Yeah.
Woo.
All right, let's count up some IQ points.
Cannon.
All right, we'll go with 3.
That's a good number.
Yeah, and some of the other stuff, we'll just not count it. It's all
Additional intelligence.
Yes, bonus.
Bonus smarts. Okay, so we got 126 points, not like Sheldon, 122 like him, 1 point up on his side, 2 points up not like his side. I'm also surprised. In fact, I didn't do research, but I don't think SeaWorld, he talked about Shamu, but I think Shamu died and the other whales killed a couple people, so SeaWorld doesn't really keep whales anymore.
Yeah, I've never actually been, but I'm sure they have other stuff there.
I went to one, I want to say it was in Boston or something. I don't know, when I was a kid, but they are not. They've turned more into theme parks, which I probably would like more, but there was so much protest against keeping whales in small confinement areas, and there was a couple instances of employees getting hurt because the whales, they're wild creatures. They're not murderers. Like, I want to kill this person. It's just they do their thing and somebody ends up dead. This has been a depressing episode. Oh my god.
I know. It started off with all the shit talk of Apple. Yeah, how they just burned us all so much and constantly. Yeah, I found that a Reddit thread that was for this group of people just went through the exact same thing as me. It's like, see, if this is a known thing, just recall it, man.
Admit you're wrong. Be a good company.
Yeah, because then you will have lifelong customers.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, enough about Apple.
Not.
Yeah, then that pretty much a depressing vanity card. So starts sad, ends sad.
And sad. Wow. Well, we love you for listening to us. Please don't stop.
Yes, thank you to anybody that actually stuck around. We will hopefully see you next time when we discuss Season 4, Episode 20, The Herb Garden Germination.
Yay.
We will bring the energy next time.
Positive energy, not the... Wow.
Thanks for listening, everyone. This was Theoretical Nonsense, the Big Bang Theory watch-along podcast. No PhD required. Our intro and outro music is by Alex Grohl. Thanks for listening. It's a trap.
It's a trap.